Hello guys, what's up? Today we will learn how to create a patch to submit to Linux community. So we will learn the Git utilities, a little bit about Git utilities, how to use Git to send a mail to check for a diff, and how to know which all maintainers you should send your patch to. So this is my Linux source tree and I have named it as linux.git because I am using the Git. So the next thing what we have to see is we have to see where branch, how many branches we have and where exactly we are now. So there is a command called git branch. It will list out whatever branches we have. So since I have checked out the master branch from Linux source tree, it says master branch and then there is an asterisk in front of it, which means that this is the branch on which I am right now. So now you might not want to do all your work on the master branch. You might want to create or fork off your own branch and work on that. That's always advisable, but you can work on master too. So what we have to do is we have to create a branch. So we say git branch followed by branch name. So now let's run the command git branch again, and it says that a branch called Shakil K1729 has been created. But I'm still not on this branch. I'm still on master branch. So what I have to say is git checkout Shakil K1729, spell mistake. So now I switched over to Shakil K1729. We can again verify with git branch command. So now this is highlighted, so which means I'm working on now Shakil K1729. So now this is my source code. In this I will want to add a file. So typically whenever you are adding a file or modifying, you might want to add into one of the subsystem. Like let's suppose you're writing some drivers, so go into the drivers, and maybe for video go inside the video folder and add an appropriate file, modify the make file, kmake file, and whatever is necessary. We will not go into that. We will directly add into the root just as a proof of concept and how to get you guys going. So I already have a hello world file. It's a very basic hello world file which I will add here. So I have it present in my temp folder, so I'll copy it here. So now this hello world.c file is present here. I'll just open it quickly for you guys to see. Very basic hello world. Now we want to submit this as a patch to the Linux community so that I can submit my work. So how should we go about that? So before you submit any patch, you have to know that it is correct, the code is compiling. So that is very important. It should not break the belt. So the code should be compiling, it should be having the right indentations and stuffs like that. So first thing, how do we check for the indentations? So Linux kernel has this script folder. It has tons of script for indentations, for checking the patch, for all of the stuffs. So we will run script slash lindent, which will set my indentations and everything proper to this hello world. And if you see that I already have this indentation properly, so this was my original file and this is the file after modification. So my original file was hello world.c, which was renamed to hello world.c tilde, and this is the new file, but since there is no change because it was correct in all respect. Now let's try to see whether this really works or not. So I have now again this hello world, and we will add some extra line here because of any reasons, and we will say like this, and let's see if I run the script again what it does. So I say scripts slash lindent hello world.c. Now if I see that, you see there is a difference. So what exactly it does, let's open the file again. So you see it has done some modifications, but it has not done for all the stuff. So like static, because it does not understand all the things, it's not so good, but still it's a first step. You should always do that. So it's done. We can do a comparison between these two files. I have the mailed here, hello world tilde. So I don't have it. Okay, I can check later on. But that's the way you check your file with lindent. So that's lindent is the first step. that if it has a formatting problem, it will automatically correct for you. I will delete this file because that's not needed. The next thing what we have to see is we have to commit this file. So whenever we say commit, it is committing to my local branch which we have created. It is not going and committing to the master. And even if you commit to the master, you will not be able to submit to Linux Torvald branch, because we never give our branch to Linux Torvald. We always send a patch to the Linux kernel maintainer, and only known developers like Greg Vaughan and Igno Molnar, Robert Love, those are the guys who can ask Linux kernel to Linux Torvald to pull from their branch, but not us as a very basic normal developer. So the next thing we have to say is git add. Since this is a new file, so I will add it to my source tray. So this is added, and then I have to commit this file. So to commit, I have to say commit and followed by the file name. So this will ask me for the comments while you're committing into any source control stuffs like svn or git. So I will say adding a new hello world example code, and any code which you are adding, it has to be followed by a signed off. Signed off basically says that who has actually created this file. This is very much needed because without sign off your code will not be accepted. Linux kernel does not accept anonymous code. It has to be from a person with his real name. So the sign off syntax is very simple. You might want to create one for you, and you can create an alias also. So it will be like this: signed off by followed by your name and your email address, and that's all done. So now you have committed, so you can check with git log what it says. So you see the last commit which I have, it says adding a new hello world example code, and then there are other commits. You don't care about that, but it tells you as a log. So since I have committed to my branch, now I have to create a patch for this and I have to send. So to create a patch, what you have to say is git format -patch, and the branch which was we worked off was a master, and we will compare with 1729. So it will compare from master to my branch 1729, and it will create a patch. So you see it has created a patch 000 something. So this patch would be here. Let's see what is inside this patch. So if I open this patch looks like an email, but it's not exactly email, but it has a subject, whatever we have given as a comment in our git committing, and it tells it's a patch. It adds automatically, it tells the date and then our code. So my patch is being created. Now before I submit this patch, I have to see whether the patch is correct from all respect. So there is another script called check patch in the script folder, and you run against this patch and it will check whether it has any warnings or errors. It should have 0 errors and 0 warnings. So right now I have one warning, and that warning says added, moved, deleted, does maintenance need updating. So there is a new file, if you remember, a new line which I have added. Because of that there is a warning. So I can go ahead and delete and again create, but I don't want to waste time, so you can do it later on. So once this is done, and I know, like, for the time being, ignore warnings. I assume that this is 0 warnings, because I have created this, deliberately added a new line which L indent has not deleted, even though L indent is good but not so good. So that's the reason I got this warnings. So now I will say I will have to commit this patch. So committing the patch is by sending an email. So I will have to say git. So before I send an email, I have to know whom I should send. So there is another script for that, scripts, and get maintainer.pl, and I will run against my patch. So it will tell me the list of persons or the user group which I should send. So it is saying that I have to send my patch to linux-kernel at visual.kernel.org, and my name it is saying. So I will send my patch git send email followed by to. So the to name would be this, but I don't want to write this name for this small idiotic patch, so I will send a mail to myself just for the testing purpose, and then followed by my patch name. If you have multiple patch, you can say star.patch, but since I have just one patch, so I can just name it. So once you do that, it will ask you whether you want to really send this mail, and if you have multiple patches, you can say a or you can say yes, either will work for you. And then you can say I don't want to encrypt my email, and I will give my password, and I say okay. So the patch has been sent. So if you see the result, okay, the patch has been sent. I already got the email with my ringtone in my mobile. It seems like the patch we have sent. So once you have sent the patch, so you are done from your side. Now you might want to see, okay, what my branch has. Your branch is Shakil K1729. You might want to delete this branch and work on a new branch. So before you want to delete this branch, you have to switch to some other branch, because if you are on this branch, you cannot delete this branch. So we will switch. We will say git checkout master. Now we switch to master. We will check with the branch, and you see that we are in the master, this branch. Now we can say delete this branch, git branch -d Shakil K1729, and we can say again git branch. Now you see there is no Shakil K1729. So I have given you how to delete this branch. That does not necessarily mean that after every work you have to delete a branch. That is just to show how to work with the branch, and you can probably delete or not delete. It's up to you. You may want to start fresh with new branch all the time, or you might just try to update the same branch again and again. It's up to you. So we can check the email quickly and see whether we have received the patch or not. So as you can see that I have received this patch. So this patch would look like this. So if you're sending to Linux store world, or maybe the maintainer or the group, this would exactly look like this. Now the other thing which I wanted to tell you is you have to configure git for sending the email. By default, git send email will not be installed. So in Fedora you have, or Ubuntu, you have to install it explicitly. Just search in the net how to install it, and you have to configure, like if you're using your Gmail, you have to configure your git config. So most of the people are using Gmail, so I have the settings for Gmail. You might want to copy it, so I'll just show it to you, my settings. So in my home directory I have a git config file, and it says SMTP encryption is TLS, SMTP server, SMTP user, port. You might just want to copy it or use whatever settings you feel good. Thanks all guys. If you like it, just give a like button, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.